You won't believe what a foreign predator was secretly doing to Kenyan women right here on Kenyan soil. A Russian national recording women in their most private moments without their knowledge, without their consent, and then spreading those images across the internet for the entire world to see. The shocking truth behind this scandal is far more worse than you think, because this wasn't just some random act. This was calculated, this was deliberate, and the number of victims could be staggering. But that is not all. Wait until you hear what the Kenyan government and Ruto just did in response. Now, let me take you back to where this nightmare began. In the weeks leading up to this story breaking wide open, whispers started circulating on social media. Fragments of videos, screenshots, links being shared in private groups, and on encrypted messaging platforms. At first, many people didn't understand what they were looking at, but slowly, a horrifying picture began to emerge. A man identified as a Russian national by the name associated with the accounts linked to the content had allegedly been living in Kenya, and during his time in the country, he had been secretly and systematically recording intimate encounters with Kenyan women. These were not women who consented to being filmed. These were not women who knew a camera was rolling. These were women who trusted someone, and that trust was weaponized against them in the most violating way imaginable. The recordings were then uploaded, distributed, and circulated across social media platforms, adult content websites, and private chat groups. Some of the material made its way onto Facebook, linked to a profile bearing the same name, Vyacheslav, Trahov, and once that content hit the open internet, it spread like wildfire. Now, here is where this gets even more disturbing. When the Kenyan internet users began discovering this content, the reaction was immediate, visceral. Women's rights organizations sounded the alarm. Activists took to social media, demanding for answers. Hashtags began trending, and the question on everyone's mind was simple but terrifying. How many more women were affected? Reports began circulating online that some of the victims may not have ever been aware that recordings of them existed until friends, family members, or even strangers alerted them that their most intimate moments were being viewed by thousands of people. Imagine that for a second. Imagine going about your daily life and then receiving a message from someone telling you that a video of you, a video that you never knew was being recorded, is now being shared across the internet. The shame, the horror, the violation, it is almost too painful to comprehend. And this is exactly why the Kenyan government has stepped in with full force. But before I tell you what the government did, you need to understand why this case is unlike anything Kenya has dealt with before. What happened here has a name, and that name is Technology-Facilitated Gender-Based Violence, sometimes abbreviated as TFGBV. The Ministry of Gender, Culture and Children's Services used this exact term when describing this case, and it is important you understand what it means, because this type of crime is one of the fastest growing forms of abuse in the world. Technology-facilitated gender-based violence refers to any act of violence that is committed, assisted, amplified, or aggravated by the use of digital technologies. This includes, but is not limited to, the non-consensual recording of intimate content, the distribution of private sexual imagery, cyberstalking, online harassment, and digital exploitation. What makes this so devastating is the permanence. A physical wound can heal, but once an image or a video is uploaded to the internet, it can exist there forever. It can be downloaded, it can be re-uploaded, it can be shared a million times, and the victim is re-victimized every single time someone views that content. In this specific case, the alleged perpetrator didn't just record the women. He circulated the material, he put it out there for the public to consume, and that act of distribution transformed a private violation into a public spectacle. Under the Kenyan law, this is not just morally reprehensible, it is very criminal. The Penal Code of Kenya addresses offenses related to obscenity, indecency, and violations of personal dignity, but even more specifically, the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act of 2018 provides a legal framework for prosecuting exactly this kind of digital abuse. The suspect is a Russian national, and this introduces an entirely different dimension of the investigation, because when a crime is committed in Kenya by a foreign national and that individual may have fled the country or may be operating across international borders, the pursuit becomes exponentially more complex. The Ministry of Gender, Culture and Children Services confirmed in their official press statement that security, investigative and prosecutional agencies have been directed to pursue the matter with urgency, and critically, this pursuit includes collaboration with international authorities, specifically because of the cross-border nature of the case. And what does this mean in practice? It means that Kenyan investigators may need to coordinate with Interpol, and it means they may need to engage with Russian authorities. It means they need to work with international tech companies to trace digital footprints, identify server locations, and preserve electronic evidence before it can be deleted or encrypted by anyone on the internet. Now, the Gender Cabinet Secretary Hanna Wendot did not mince words. She came out publicly and condemned the alleged actions in the strongest possible terms. She called this what is a violation, an assault of the dignity of the Kenyan woman, a crime that must be met with the full weight of institutional accountability. But she also did something equally important. She turned her attention to the survivors. Secretary Wendot urged all affected women, all survivors of the violation, to come forward, not to suffer in silence, not to let shame keep them hidden, but to reach out and access the counseling and legal referral services that are available to them. She assured them of confidentiality, she assured them of support, and she pointed them towards the existing GBV response channels that the government has established specifically for situations like these. This is a critical point because in cases of non-consensual intimate imagery, one of the greatest barriers to justice is the silence of the victims. Many women who are affected by this type of crime never come forward. They are afraid of judgment, they are afraid of further exposure, and they are afraid that seeking help will not only make things worse. Secretary Wendot's message was clear: you will be protected, you will be heard, and you will not be judged. The ministry also issued a stern warning to the general public, and this warning is something everyone watching this video needs to hear. Do not share this material. If you have come across any of the content linked to this case, do not download it, do not forward it, and do not post it. Do not even screenshot it, because here is what many people don't realize. When you share non-consensual intimate imagery, you are not just a bystander, you become part of the crime. Under the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act, the distribution of this type of content is itself a prosecutable offense. Every person who shares that video, who forwards that image, who posts that link is compounding the trauma of the victims, and they are exposing themselves to potential criminal liability. The government has made this warning explicitly, and it will be wise to take this very seriously. But there is another layer to this story that we haven't explored yet, and it raises questions that go far beyond this single case. Now, if you are one of the women affected by this case, I want you to hear something clearly. This was not your fault. You did nothing wrong. The shame does not belong to you. It belongs to the person who violated your trust. It belongs to the person who recorded you without your knowledge. You are not defined by what was done to you. You are defined by the courage, by your resilience, and by your strength. As of now, investigations are ongoing. The security apparatus of Kenya has been activated. Prosecutional agencies are preparing, international coordination is underway, and the net is tightening around the individual accused of this despicable crime. The Ministry of Gender, Culture and Children Services has made it unequivocally clear there will be no impunity, there will be no escape. Whether the suspect is in Kenya, in Russia, or anywhere else on this planet, the pursuit will continue. Because this is not just about one man, this is about sending a message that Kenya will not tolerate the exploiting of its women, a message that technology will not be allowed to become a weapon against the vulnerable, a message that justice, no matter how complex, the pursuit will be served. Now, this story is far from over. Investigations are still unfolding. The new details could emerge at any moment, and I will be here to bring you every single update as it happens. If this video opened your eyes, hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on the notification bell because the next chapter of this story could break at any time and you do not want to miss it. Share the video with someone who needs to hear this, not the harmful content, this particular video, this message and this warning, because awareness is the first step towards justice. I'll see you in the next Celebrity Drama Files.